Yo, what's up, guys? It's Kyle. I'm back, and today I just wanted to yap, of course. And yeah, I'm gonna just play this deck. I like playing drill. I don't know, but lately I've kind of been thinking about patience, and not really patience in the sense of just like waiting in line or sitting in traffic or whatever, but being patient with like people, your circumstances, and like patience with yourself, you know. I think a lot of people say that like they're patient, but a lot of times what you really mean is like you haven't been pushed far enough yet. Like it's very easy to feel calm whenever things are going according to plan, right? And it's very easy to feel like, you know, humble whenever nobody is criticizing you or like everybody's praising you. Wow, that gets a hit. It's crazy. It's very easy to think that like you're a thoughtful person whenever nobody says anything that could make you feel like defensive or bad or anything like that. But the real, holy cow, this guy is not patient. The real version of you can kind of get a hit. Nice. That is, I don't know why I said nice. That was not very good. This guy like hard counters me, not gonna lie. But the real version of you usually comes out whenever you're like frustrated, embarrassed, tired, anything like that, any negative feelings. There's some quote, I don't remember what it is, but like, what is it? I can't remember, but it's something about that whole idea of the real you coming out whenever like times are not good, basically. And I tried to not say that like I've figured that out, because I haven't. Like, it's definitely, patience is a very hard thing to do, and really, because you have to be fully in control of yourself, right? And no, you just have to be very mindful. And I'm trying, like, I try to get better at that, and notice like what's happening inside of me before like I immediately react to it. Holy cow. And because like there's a difference between having an emotion and letting that, okay, and letting that emotion just like take control of you. I think I've lost, especially because of that lag spike. And like, because last night I was working. Yeah, it's kind of over. And last night I was working, and I was working at the front of house, which recently I've started working back of house, which is much better. What should I play? I'll play lava. It's easy. No disrespect to lava players, but there's 3 different roles. There's drive-through, cashier at the front, lobby, and then if there's like a 4th person, then they're kind of like just wherever they need to be. But there's 3 people, and I got put on lobby because because of course I did, which just stinks because it's basically just cashier, except you also have to clean a bunch of stuff. Because normally the cashier, why am I lagging? Normally the cashier isn't necessarily up at the cashier all the time. That was a really bad cage. They're like bagging food up and whatever. But I thought surely it's going to be a completely fine day because it had just started raining, and I was only there from 4 to 7. At about 5 o'clock, about 30 kids came in there. And at our place, like after 4 o'clock, kids meals are really cheap, and even the parents were ordering kids meals. And none of them tipped at all. So that's cool. But yeah, I don't care if you don't tip, but it's just like, could you at least like not have your kids running around the entire restaurant and screaming and hitting things and yelling and all that? Just like be a parent. I don't know. It's not that hard, I feel like, but what do I know? But it was definitely kind of difficult to be like patient with them. I was able to do it, but it's like it's no easy task, right? It was frustrating, and I was having a lot of thoughts of like wanting to say something to them, which I think I should have said something. Like I was going to try and be respectful if I said something, but I think I should have said something, but I didn't. I was just like, whatever, it'll pass. But so you can be like upset at somebody without saying something like cruel or mean or something like that, and that's difficult. You can be like disappointed in somebody's oh no, I'm disappointed in myself for that. That was really bad. Okay, let's not die. You can be disappointed in someone without saying something like bitter or really rude. Right. And you can feel disrespected without feeling the need to prove yourself in some sort of way. And that's something that we should all like learn. Come on. Nice. I win this. Nice, lava pup. Awesome. And a thought can enter your mind without needing your full attention, because an emotion can be something that is real without having to be why can't I pick it? All right. Emotions are real, but they're not always good guides of how you should act or be. I feel like Ronin isn't very good in this deck, so I'm gonna switch back to Evo Valk. And yeah, sometimes you just have to stop and think like, why is this making me react so strongly? Is this really about what just happened, or is something or someone else causing this reaction? Like not necessarily directly causing it, but like, is that why I'm having this sort of reaction? Am I tired? Am I embarrassed? Is it something with me? Like, do I feel like this isn't me thinking this? Wow, I wish I had Ronin now, but it's okay. Like, what? That's crazy. Like, do you feel like someone isn't respecting you? And sometimes it's just like you want to be right, which that's natural, and sometimes that is definitely a big thing that can drive our emotions and our actions, is you want to be correct. That's something that a lot of people struggle with. You just want to be right. Sometimes it's just not worth it. A lot of the times it's not worth it. You just want to kind of drop it. And a lot of those can get to me a lot of the times. Like whenever I'm tired, I just I don't act right, or act like how I want to, you know, how I think I should and how I think I normally act. And a lot of times it's tough because you don't even notice it. Like you're you can be thinking that you're completely acting normal, but you're just not. Why does this guy have freeze, man? So annoying. Hit you with the wow. Okay. And also one thing I definitely recommend for you guys, especially if it's like, if you're on summer break, or if you're just like, if you just sleep in, try not to. If you get on like a normal routine, I think that helps you a lot to be more mindful. And if you sleep less but you're waking up at a consistent time, that's helped me a lot. Like my doctor told me, like, because I was just doing like a routine thing, I was getting a shot, and she said like you should be waking up at the same time. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And it's helped me so much. Like I feel like I have a lot more time in the day, and even though I'm sleeping less, I feel way better because I'm in that routine, which I feel like a lot of people do that, but like I wasn't. I was waking up at like 10 to 11. It was bad, and I felt like I didn't have a lot of my day sometimes. So just being mindful of that is really helpful. Basically what I was saying though is like, there are moments where I can tell myself to like, wow, okay, well that tower's gone. I can tell myself that I'm just standing up for what is right or true, but like if I'm being honest, I could just be trying to win that argument or something. Okay, this guy's playing interestingly. I may just want the other person to admit that I'm right, or I just don't want the other person to be right. And even when I am right, if I'm right, like that doesn't automatically mean that I handled the situation well. Okay, because I feel like this is a big thing in politics. Like you could agree with someone. I think a strong characteristic that someone can have is standing for your values and what you believe in, but recognizing like this politician that I like, now I do agree with him and I don't agree with the other side, but I will admit this person that I support did not act the best there. They could have done something much better. So yeah. Kill the mega minion. Dude. Oh. No. Holy cow. Wait. Oh no. Come on. Alrighty, yeah. Well, it's cooked. You know, you can still be correct and still be like arrogant or prideful, and you can make a good point in an awful way, which for a lot of people that's hard to understand. And it definitely is. Like you can win an argument, but then you can hurt your relationships with people. And it's like, well, then what did I really get from that? I think that a lot. Like, you know, you're like, you think like, oh, this person, you know, I'll be like arguing with my mom or something, and it's like, and whichever one it is of us that's like starting it or whatever, it's like, I think a lot, is this really, why am I lagging? It's like, is this really worth it? Because then she's gonna be like upset for the rest of the day, and then no matter what I do, like it's just like, what am I gonna gain out of this? And of course we're still gonna have a relationship, like she's my mom, but it can definitely hurt it. And it's like, so I did all that just to you know, get like nothing out of it, besides me hearing that like I'm right. And it's like, humility is just like, you got to be able to look at yourself honestly. Like, it isn't, you don't have to pretend that you're like terrible at everything. Ugh, I was terrible at that king activation though. Wow. Okay. And it isn't like putting yourself down so that other people can reassure you, right? Like, you know, you don't want to be humble and be like seeking other people's attention, because that's just the opposite of being humble. But it's just having an accurate view of yourself. Like, you can recognize that you're good at something without believing that you're automatically better than everybody else in an egotistical way. He's gonna P.E.K.K.A. Please. Freeze. It's alright. You know? And same thing, like, you can admit where you're like weak at. Ooh, this is not good. Okay. Wonderful. This is a bad matchup, but it's okay. And you can admit like you're weak without deciding that you're hopeless. Like, you don't want to be too far on either side. Come on. Oh, he's got zap. Yeah, it's over. You can say like, I handled that well, or you can say I handled that poorly, and both are completely fine to say. One thing that, like, what should I? I'll just do this again. You know what? I'm putting Ronin back in, because I just faced P.E.K.K.A. and Mega Knight 2 games in a row. I got clapped. Both can't. No, one. I don't remember. One thing that I want to ask like more often, and I try to think about, is like, what part of this belongs to me? Because it's easy to identify what everyone else does wrong. But like, we can usually explain somebody's mistakes in a lot of detail, but what did I actually do? Like, you point out, I don't want to say you, we point out other people's flaws and stuff, but it's like, was I actually listening to them? Did I assume the worst in them? Another lag spike. Awesome. Am I like being accusatory whenever I'm trying to like blame something on them? This is, oh my goodness, this is just an awful matchup, man. And it's like, did I really did I do what they say that I did? And did I really give my best in trying to listen to them? I mean, holy cow. And whenever you do things like that, even just thinking like, did I make the situation better or did I make it worse? You don't have to take responsibility for everything, and sometimes people will try and take advantage of that. Oh, that survived. Wow. That's crazy. Void, come on, this is like my one chance. Nice. Oh my goodness, we got this. Evo Inferno Dragon, I love you. Oh. I don't know. And some people won't like listen to you because some situations aren't your fault. Comeback of the century, wow. And that's because some situations really aren't your fault, but even then your response, how you act after that, that is your fault. Like, that is completely you. Right, because even then you still have to respond in some way. Because and if you think like, oh well, what if I just leave? That's still a response. That in some situations that may be the only part that you can control, and that's where being calm has a lot of strength. Which wonderful, because a lot of people think that like strength means like being a leader, and that usually implies that you react quick. Which, how'd I know he had a hog rider? That, holy cow. Yeah, people think that like speaking loudly it shows strength, and having the last word sometimes. And I'm lagging again. This is good at least. But sometimes like, and it's like people think that if you can't be pushed around, then you're strong. But like, sometimes if you want to be the stronger person, you're the one that like will pause and be like, you know, maybe I am in the wrong. Maybe I don't have to answer immediately out of some sort of like fear or insecurity. Right, and the one who can walk away for a while and come back when they're thinking clearly, that's a strong person, because you can show that you don't need to prove everything while you're in the moment. Because like you know, everything feels very immediate now. I'm gonna do this, I guess. All right. Like, and that makes it kind of difficult because every message that you send, it seems like you have to have an answer, otherwise you're ghosting them. And shoot, I should not have done that. It's okay. It'll be fine. Every news story seems like somebody has to give their opinion on it, which is kind of ironic because now I'm just yapping to a camera, giving my opinion on something that nobody asked for. But chill. It doesn't apply to me, guys. No, I'm kidding. But right, okay, this guy's 2.9. I thought he'd play pigs. Okay. Okay, he has cannon. Fire spirit instead of ice spirit. Interesting. Okay. And in the same way as the news story and the like the message, every disagreement can feel like you need to choose a side right away. Otherwise, you feel like you could feel like you're left out, like you're not a part of a side. You feel it's just a weird feeling because you're not you're not picking, I guess. And you feel like you need to pick though. And reality, you don't need to pick immediately. Crazy, but you don't. You're allowed to say, I don't know enough yet, or I'm not confident enough to be able to give you my thoughts right now. Or you don't have to form an opinion. You're like, I'm not in the right headspace, whatever, right now. Give me a day. Let me sleep on it. That's okay to say. Which I know is crazy to say in today's time, but it is. It's all right. Because people now on like social media, it's made it harder because once people say something publicly, they feel like they have to defend that forever. You know, and no, like even after new information comes out, like somebody, I don't know, somebody could have been a fan of Diddy's music or something, and they could have just really liked Biggie, but it's like, do you think that somebody that liked Biggie and Diddy in like 1995 knew about all that stuff? Let me tell you, nah, probably I'm taking a guess that they probably didn't. I'm gonna lose. I feel like I've lost a lot today. And it's like, even when you start to realize that like you may have been wrong about something, even if you already had that information, or if you learn new information and you're like, maybe I was wrong about this, but people feel like, well, you know, I said it, so I have to stand on it. It's like, no, you can change your mind. That's okay. And it becomes less about what the truth is and more about like what, like just standing on what you said and like protecting your image, I guess, or like who you don't, people don't want to like switch up on something, because then it feels like someone will call them out, I guess. It's like, oh, well, you said this one time, so now you're just gonna switch up like that. It's like, my bad, bro. I don't know. And but we all do this, but I think we would all agree that we would respect someone a lot more if they would just say, you know, I was wrong about that, and I'm sorry, you know. And that's not it is hard, but it's not the hardest thing in the world, right? And it's just being humble and being able to say that. Just be like, I didn't understand the whole situation, or you can even say like, I still don't know what to think. You might be right, I might be right, but I'm not gonna let that put something between us. And that just takes straight humility. Like, there's nothing else with it. Just that's what it's got to be. And of course, the Bible talks about this. Wow, that guy just no hog hit. James says, like, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this before. He says, like, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and like slow to anger or become angry. And a lot of us naturally reverse that. We want to not listen. We want to talk, and as soon as somebody says something that could make us upset, it's like, why I ought to it's like, nah, buddy, I don't care what you think, and I'm not gonna have an open mind or anything. Like, you said this thing that upsets me, it's over, bro. It's like, what? And it's like, even and we do that to even a higher extent whenever we know what the other person believes, because you're like, oh well, they're not going to change, so why should I try and listen to them? But it's like, you could change, they might change. So it's not saying that you should just like always be quiet and never talk, you only listen, but like, they could change, and their view might be right. Holy cow, I'm so screwed. I'm so bad with talk. And Proverbs also says that, like, talks about how a person can control their spirit. A person who can control their spirit is stronger than someone who conquers a city. And I think that's very interesting, because it just shows how strong just control of yourself is compared to being able to control everybody else, or like dominate over everybody else. Because like, nobody thinks of having self-control as being like impressive from the outside. Nobody applauds you because you didn't send an angry text, but they will get upset with you if you do. But like, those, like, you know, that's a small decision that can shape who you are and show other people who you are. And I think that's like, that there's a bigger question in there of not just like, did I get what I wanted, and not did I prove my point, but who did I just work towards becoming through the way that I responded? Am I being more patient, more peaceful, more honest, more willing to listen, any of that? Or am I being just like more defensive, more disrespectful, more like quicker to just assume the worst in people? I think that you also need to be patient with yourself, and because self-reflection is important, but it can turn into constantly beating yourself up. You recognize a mistake and you're like, well, it's cooked, guys. I made a mistake. But it's like growth is slow. Sometimes you can overcome something, or you think you'll overcome something, and then like the right situation comes along and shows you that you still have work to do. And that can be like discouraging, and you might think like, why am I even doing this? But if you notice the problem, then that's already one step towards growing, because you realize something's wrong and I have the opportunity to fix it. And even if you look back like a few years ago, you could be like, this thing is still haunting me. Like, why did I act that way? But it's like, if you don't act that way now, guess what? You grew. That's progress. I actually saw on our calendar the other day, there's a calendar and it has a quote every day. And it says, you can be, what did it say? You can be great without being perfect, or something like that. And it's like, because nobody's perfect. We all know that. As long as you're making progress, that's as perfect as you can be. So really, you just want to practice on creating a little space between what happens and how you respond. Just have enough space to be like, this is how I want to react, so that's what I'm going to do. And maybe that means like you take a breath, or you pray for a second, or you wait 10 minutes before replying. You just wait 5 seconds. Just be, and take hold of your mind. Make sure that nothing else is consuming you. And that little bit of space can bring just enough comfort to let you act the right way. Because once you react, you might not be able to take it back. Bars, that rhymed. But before you react, you still have to make that choice. And I don't think being calm means being like passive. It doesn't mean letting somebody walk all over you, but all it means is just like that you realize that sometimes the right thing is to just speak directly. You don't have to confront anybody or let someone walk all over you. You just have to say, hey, I need you to hold on. Right? Say that something's wrong. But you can be firm without being out of control. Or being like fully in control. Just realize what you have control of and put that down and be like, this is how it is. Just, you have to give me a second. And yeah, so that's probably where I'm going to leave it. Thank you guys for sticking through. How long is this even? 39 minutes. Oh my gosh, I yapped. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. I hope you guys got something out of this video, especially if you watched it all the way through. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Thank you for sticking with me. Jesus loves you. I love you. Subscribe, like if you enjoyed. Comment your thoughts. And yeah, I love you guys. Peace.